Next to me is the new Rolls-Royce Ghost, and it's been a long time coming. The first generation Ghost has been out for over 10 years now. Sure, there was a minor refresh, but it was getting a bit outdated. This is the all-new Ghost, and everything has been refreshed. No longer does the Ghost share a motor with a lowly BMW. Nope, it's got the same engine as the Rolls-Royce Phantom, a 6 3/4 liter. Yes, that's right, they don't say 6.75, they say 3/4 liter, twin turbocharged V12 that makes 563 horsepower and 629 pound-feet of torque. What's more, all of that torque is available at just 1,600 RPM. Despite its 5,600 pound curb weight, it can sprint from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 4.2 seconds. I borrowed this Ghost from Monza Exotics, a luxury and exotic rental car company that has everything ranging from this Ghost to a Huracan Evo. So if you're looking for something fun to rent, I've got a link in the description below to their website as well as their Instagram. All right, get this. The Rolls-Royce Ghost has doors that can open themselves. Now, having doors that close themselves is nothing new for Rolls-Royce. Typically, you climb into the vehicle and you've got a button somewhere, in this case in the center console, to close that beautiful gun-safe-like door. But there was never a way to open the door automatically until now. Now, it's not actually a button. Instead, you pull on the door handle itself and a motor moves the door outwards so that it's easier for you to get out of the car. Now, for whatever reason, this car is not doing that function. I don't know whether it's broken or if it's some weird option, but it is pretty cool that you can pull on the door handle and the thing opens itself. The interior of the new Ghost is absolutely ridiculous, particularly finished in this gorgeous mandarin orange color. We've got the Starry Night headliner, except in this case, for the new Ghost, it has a shooting star feature. So every once in a while, if you're lucky, you'll catch a glimpse of a star shooting across the sky. The leather in here is unbelievable. The seating position is so comfortable, you could go on a 30-hour road trip and sleep the entire way in the back. There's even an optional champagne cooler, which isn't anything really new for Rolls-Royce, but it has both a winter or a summer mode, so you can choose just how cold you want your champagne based on what season it is. I love these little push rods to change the climate control. It is so classy, and these little hockey puck style discs to change the temperature. We've also got a very nice armrest here. Optional are curtains that go horizontally across the windshield. Allegedly, Rolls-Royce learned from the previous generation Ghost that their customers wanted something a bit more subtle. I don't know where they got that data, because the last thing a $350,000 house on wheels is subtle, but they've made it a little bit more subdued in its design, kind of like the new S-Class. It's a bit rounder in the back, the taillights are smaller, the front grille is a little bit smaller, but yeah, subtle isn't exactly what I'd use to describe this car. I will say, though, it's got one of the biggest trunks I have ever seen in any vehicle. I mean, you could probably fit 5 bodies in here. Every body panel on the new Ghost has been hand-welded in order to give the appearance that the car is made from one massive piece of metal. It's actually 3 inches longer than the prior generation Ghost and 1 inch wider as well. It's also the first time the Spirit of Ecstasy has been located on the hood itself instead of a chrome strip in the grille. And of course, if you try to pull on it, it drops out of the way. Now, interestingly enough, the grille itself actually illuminates, and not in a tacky way. It actually has little LEDs at the top that disperse light in a classy formation throughout the grills, so that people know that you're driving a frickin' Rolls-Royce. As I'm sure you can imagine, the interior in the new Ghost is absolutely incredible. It has a fit and finish and a material quality and choice that only Rolls-Royce is capable of. Hand-stitched leather that looks like it's done on a machine. I don't know how they did it this well. We've got a new digital instrument cluster, similar to the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Nice digital display that actually works really well and has good graphics, unlike the last generation car. It even has an illuminated Starry Night logo for the Ghost on the passenger side as well. As with most Rolls-Royces, I love the enormous steering wheel. It feels like you're piloting a mega yacht. I've never driven a mega yacht. It just seems like that's what it would be like. Chrome everywhere, the pushers for the air conditioning vents, and I love the fact that the word low apparently isn't classy enough for Rolls-Royce because it goes from max, high, medium to soft for the climate control. We've got it on soft right now. You can go in here. This is the main control unit for the infotainment screen. You can do anything from adding massage seat functionality to the car, raising the spirit of ecstasy up and down in case you get into a dicey area and need to lower the spirit of ecstasy, as if that's gonna make a difference. You can activate the massage really easily by clicking a button to the left of me right here. It's got multiple different levels of intensity, and it actually feels somewhat intense. Most massages in cars are so weak you barely feel it. It just kind of feels like somebody's just breathing on your back. This, you actually get a nice little massage going on. In order to put the car in drive, we've got something that also seems like it's off of a mega yacht. This column shifter, go ahead and slide it into drive. It also has a button on the end for park and a button for low to keep it in lower gears for faster acceleration. Now, this car has an automatic transmission that's actually hooked up with its GPS to pre-select gears based on inclines, turns, and the environment around you, which is pretty darn ridiculous. Rolls-Royce touts their new Planar suspension system, which is another level of their magic carpet ride that soaks up bumps like no other car in the world. I mean, I truly feel like I'm floating right now. Like there's almost no connection between the road and me riding over the road. It's almost eerie at first. You're like, whoa, am I actually in a car? The word magic carpet, I know it sounds silly, but it really is true. It feels like you're just flying and gliding above the road. It is so unbelievably quiet in here. Rolls-Royce added 220 pounds of sound deadening to the car. That's in the windows, in the doors, to make it extremely isolated from the outside world. They even tuned the resonant frequencies of every single component in the car to cause a slight whisper. Apparently, it was so sound deadened before they did the resonant frequency tuning that it felt weird, like you were in an isolation chamber, and it made people feel disoriented because they did too good of a job of isolating it from the road. Tuning things like the air vents and the seat rails to all sing in harmony allowed it to feel a lot more natural and absolutely sublime. The steering is incredibly light. I mean, you could steer this car with one finger if you truly wanted to. I mean, I'm not making that up. I can literally turn the car with one finger right now. And it is just so relaxing to be behind the wheel of. Nothing rides like a Rolls-Royce. Nothing is as quiet as a Rolls-Royce, and nobody has the interior quality like these guys do. It truly is exceptional, and it almost makes you laugh when you're behind the wheel of it because it's so absurd. It's so comfortable, it's so over the top, it's so extreme in terms of its luxury that, like a supercar, when you're having an absolute blast behind the wheel and you're accelerating and it's making you giggle and smile, this, you just look around and go, oh my gosh, how and why did they make this thing? But I'm very, very glad they did. Starting price is $343,000 US, and it climbs sharply from there. Got multitude of choices of different Spirit of Ecstasy logos. Do you want one chrome? Do you want it made of crystal that illuminates? Do you want the Starry Night headliner? Do you want constellations in the Starry Night headliner that are exactly matched to the moment and place in time in which you were born? That's right, the factory can actually do things like that. I can't imagine making that request, but I do imagine a lot of people probably have. The two-tone seats, the mandarin orange with the black, is pretty incredible. They have tons of different options for trim, open pore wood. They even have this bird's eye maple that looks like something out of a 1990s Mercedes, but a lot classier. Go ahead and accelerate a little bit here. You know, it's so isolated from the outside world, it doesn't actually feel that fast. The speedo is climbing quickly. The vehicle is quick, 4.2 seconds to 60 miles an hour. But you are so isolated from the surrounding environment that you don't really have any idea what's happening. You do hear that V12 penetrate into the cabin a bit, but it's not necessarily a good sound. It's kind of okay at best. I love the fact that RPM gauges are apparently not classy enough for Rolls-Royce. In this case, we have power reserve percentage. Right now, we have 100% power reserve. So if my boss in the back asks me to take him to the Ritz-Carlton, don't worry, sir, I've got 100% power reserve. And then when you floor it, it decreases, kind of the opposite of an RPM gauge. But with that torque available at 1600 RPM, you don't really have to downshift or wait for anything. Just a slight tap on the gas and it accelerates really quickly and has excellent passing power. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. It's been an absolute pleasure behind the wheel of the new Rolls-Royce Ghost. They did a fantastic job with this vehicle, and I'm excited to see what Rolls-Royce releases next. All right, guys, see you next video.